Hello everyone, as promised I would showcase my Shiranui deck next after the Hanzo deck profile. Unfortunately I lost the original video, so we're gonna make a new profile. And since BRO is done for a while and Springfest is upcoming, this will be my take on the deck for Springfest. So yeah, let's get started. The main grade 3 I still want to play is triple Shiranui Zanki. The only reason why I play 3 and not 4 is that I still want to play some other grade 3s to balance things out. And I still love this card, and that's why I cannot let it go. So even after 2, 3, 4 years, it never left my deck. So to back up my big pal Shiranui, his original form, this time in attacker form, it's a great card. It can put itself into the soul, bounce a card, and generate hand advantage. It also gives me more options to get grade 3s into the soul, which can set up some further plays in the end game. The on-right ability, or the act ability on Vanguard, is not something that I usually use, but if the occasion is there, I can still use it, and that's why we play one copy of Oboro. I really love this art. It's one of my favorites of the deck. It scales very easy. We actually only kind of play it for the early game, since if we are getting great stalled, we have options to bind key pieces of our opponent, get a token. We have ways to search out more Shiranuis and specific Shiranuis. So we always have a guarantee to gain the full ability with the 27k and the drive checks on the token. Great stuff. I really enjoy it. Then for our WinCon card, Mizukaze. He's been out for a while, and as long as we play Arena or do multi-attacks or anything else, this card will be essential. I think over the years I've dropped Kokoshi Garasu for this one because I find it more efficient. Furthermore, there were some cards that left the deck eventually, like Saradare, who could retire some cards and create open spots for Kokoshi. So this is now my way to play it, and I think that's actually the only way to play it, since we need to force guard restrict and make our opponents need to have a bad day when facing this. So that's why we play Mizukaze. Then for Heal Guardians, because we need to survive the early game, it doesn't always come up, but I still like it, and it guarantees that we survive. So that's it for the grade 3s. I will go over some plays at the end. Then for the grade 2s, a very compact package of triple Ungai. We really need this card in the deck, especially for the Dominate deck, because whenever we get trigger sacked against us, we need to reset the board. And the best way to reset the board is with Ungai. He creates 22 lines on his own by choosing the card behind him. It creates a situation where the opponent's Vanguard is set back to 11, which is easier to make certain lines. Really great. The discard ability doesn't really come up all that much, since I prefer to play it after the Dominate abilities have been procced. But if he survives the turn and is still on board for the next turn, we could use it to filter our hands a bit more. Then for the next part of the package, I play 4 of Yamishibuki. The main reason why we play it is because we play Jaku Meso, but we also can bounce cards back to our hand to reuse it for the next turn. The main card I want to bounce is of course the Ungai, or the Guard Restrictor. So we play 4 of it. It also makes the deck more beefy, because we can play decoy tokens, it can help guarding. And since we play Zanki as our main Vanguard, we do not play a lot of protect markers, or we do not have a lot of access to it. And to balance that out, we play cards like Yamishibuki. Finally, triple Megatsugil. It's a great card. He never left the deck. ever since the beginning. And I really enjoy this artwork, especially in full art. A great addition to the SP pack back then. So that is it for grade 2s. Then to aid our defense, double of the Utsuru. It's been a staple of mine to play because I really enjoy the ability to have a card in the deck that can sentinel against grade 0 guard restrict. And since most of the players do not expect it, it's a really cool card to catch them off guard. Furthermore, the ability to have 2 in the drop zone and get 1 back into the hand whenever a dominate unit attacks hit the Vanguard is also very nice. It makes your opponent, my opponent needs to have an understanding of what they can let through and what not, if they don't want me to have a lot of resource management. So that's a great card. Especially the main reason why I chose to play the PG is that it can be returned to the hand, so it helps with our lack of protect markers. So in a way we play 5 PGs, but 1 to be recycled. Then I have Ryu. She's perfect. I like her as a right target to immediately put on the pressure, force our opponent to discard. It helps against matchups that are not keen on striding second. So if my opponent has a game plan where they want to be striding first and they will stall out a turn, Ryu can set up the board for later plays, since whenever they discard something grade 2 or higher, we have an easier way to proc Obero with its full skill and have 4 drive checks in the turn. Second, when she's placed, Soul Blast 1 to discard a card whenever my opponent has 5 or more cards in hand. This makes Rene a bit more stable, since Rene kind of needs 7, 6, 7, 8 cards in hand for the kill turn. And this can make it a lot easier. Then, triple Sakura Fubiku. Still the best counter charger in the deck. It's been here for almost 4 years. It never changed. Then we play a search package in the form of 3 of the V and 1 of the G variant. This one for generic searching. It can give me a shuffle, it can give me something to restack my deck. Anything. This one for the specifics. Since we do play a lot of Shiranuis in the deck, we can search them on command with this card. I kind of want to play this 2-on-2, but I find that a bit annoying whenever I have to ride it, because it's a dead card on Vanguard. That's it for the grade 1s. Then for the triggers, 1 over trigger, because we kind of need it and it's unfair, so we have to play it. It kind of saved my ass a lot in playtesting whenever I was about to get killed. An overtrigger kind of changed the game, and whenever you proc it on a Vanguard attack on turn that you're almost guaranteed to win, it's a great safety net for actually killing our opponent. Vanguard could be better if it was banned, but we don't have that right now, so we play it. 4 of the stride crit, and that's actually the only crit I prefer to run right now. Then we have double front triggers and triple of the draw trigger guardians. So we're not focusing on getting 2 protect markers and everything that comes with it. Since we do that, I found it necessary to put more guards in the deck. The PGs are a way of guaranteeing that we can gain PGs back through the drop zone. And these cards make it easy for a 20k shield or 10k shield with 1 card, and also function as a trigger. These are more here for the guard value than for the front trigger ability, but I do like it whenever I proc it and have the safety net of and the insurance that my units will survive, since my opponent will not attack into a 19k grade 1 or grade 2. So yeah, it's a safety net, this one, and this is more necessary for the guard, for the hand advantage. Lastly, one draw trigger and a starter. Since we do play 2 grade 1 sentinels, we play 2 of the others. So we play 1 Mask of Domination token, since we do have access to the route, and some other decoy tokens. It's fun. Markers because markers. They're more here for whenever I need them more. Yeah, they're not really that necessary. So for the G-Zone, for Renee, by far the best card in the deck. Even after 4 years, it still works. And honestly, I'm kind of a bit tired of him. But he does a great job, and as long as he does a great job, I will play him. Mugen Lord. I could play the other stride, but I find it not necessary, since Mugen Lord is an easy way to secure victory whenever I go into the late game. The multi-attacks on top of the other abilities of powering up my own board makes it really handy. And since Mugen Lord is a turn 4, turn 5 kind of stride, so whenever I'm all out of renays, cannot get my other skills into proccing, Mugen Lord is a great safety net to secure games. 1 Jakumeso, since it's a really easy card to set up the board, replenish my hand, gain a stack. He pressures with crits, just like Rene does with the dominate units. It's kind of necessary. We do need crit pressure in the deck, so if our strides can do it, I do not have to run more crits in the trigger zone for the triggers. 1 Mukeron, for whenever I need to blow up a board and gain more advantage. 1 Mugen Dagogo. I really never go into the card, but sometimes, and especially with the current state of the meta where Bill Moon is thriving, it's an easy card to gain an Excel marker if my opponent is foolish enough to let it play out that way. So just for the case, I play it. Then 1 GB8. It's basically here for style points. I haven't been able to proc it. It's fun if I do, but it's basically here just for the style points. This can be whatever. It could be a Drachma. It can be another copy of Jakumeso. But I like to try the GB8 for this format. It's fun. 1 Gilgal, for whenever I want to have free stride. And for the G-Guards, 1 Flipper, since we do play the GB8. 2 of the I Steal Your Cards. And double of the Big Shield. As for final thoughts in the profile, I'm really curious what the upcoming premium collection will bring to the deck, since the deck does need a bit more versatility in the G zone. So, going over some plays. Sankey will be our main Vanguard, and most of the times we will end on a rename. So whenever I start rename, the thing I like to do the most is just straight up calling 1 or 2 down. Whenever my opponent has a big hand, this will secure that my opponent's hand will be a lot less big whenever I proc rename. Afterwards, I will usually call down an Ingoy to make this 22, makes it easier to hit. And the final card I play would be a Yamishibuki. And if the option is there for the turn, a Mizukaze. Most of the times the Mizukaze will be behind the Vanguard, so the ability to make guarding harder will not interrupt my field in a way. So the first attack would most likely be Ungai after the Dominate ability, or actually the Vanguard. Whenever we proc a front trigger, it will help to make our lines bigger. If we trigger the over trigger, it's cash money. Afterwards, yeah, you can do whatever. If this card is dead after the turn, you can call back one of these two and call 2 tokens here. It depends on the game state at that point. But yeah, this is kind of how I like to play my deck at some point, at some level. It's a really fun deck. I still think it can do work, and I still really enjoy it. So I think for the foreseeing future, I will not drop Sankey anytime soon. So yeah, if you have any questions on the deck, anything else Nubatama related, just put them down in the comments. As for me, I'm going to work on my Magatsu Storm Reverse deck for premium, and that will be the next profile. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and I see you next time. Ciao!